Hi, this is Tim Allen for QSPNLive.com, and today we are talking with one of the owners, co-owners of the Elk Ridge Brewing Company here in Deer Lodge, Montana. This is Caleb Burton. Caleb, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, part of the interesting story here is that Caleb is a pastor, which is something you typically don't find in a brewing establishment.
No,
so, how did you get involved in all this?
Well, for one thing, the issue of being a pastor, first of all, I didn't ever want to be a pastor. That was definitely a calling, not a
The
choice.
good ones generally don't.
Yeah.
They know it's a lot of work,
Yeah.
a lot of responsibility.
And before we came here, my wife and I were missionaries in Athens, Greece.
Oh, wow.
And the Lord brought us to Deer Lodge. Long story, very kind of fun story about how God did that. And even in my application to the Evangelical Free Church for this church, one of the questions in there was, do you drink alcohol? And on my application, I said, absolutely, I drink beer. Not only that, I enjoy drinking beer. Not only that, I'd be glad to share a beer with somebody who would also enjoyed drinking a beer. And so that was on my application, and they hired me anyway. So, but when I got here, I've been here now for 17 years as the pastor at the Depot Church here in town. It's an evangelical free church. And when I first came here, I was going to the Ministerial Association, which is kind of an association of the different area pastors.
Sure.
And we would meet together. And then afterwards, we'd oftentimes go out for breakfast. And we were out for breakfast one day after our meeting, and the guys, pastors, were sitting around joking, which I know people kind of think, what could pastors possibly be joking about? Well, it was kind of corny. We were all joking about if Jesus was in Deer Lodge, kind of what church would he go to? Where would he go? And I just got really quiet. I didn't say anything, and everybody was saying why they'd go to their church and, having a good time, laughing and yucking it up. And I didn't say anything. After a while, one of them asked me, he said, well, Caleb, you haven't said anything. Where do you think Jesus would go? And I got really serious. I said, well, honestly, I think if he was in Deer Lodge, he wouldn't go to any of our churches. He'd go to the bar. And it got kind of quiet, But when I read the gospel, that's what it looks like, to me.
You rarely see him hanging out in church. He was hanging out with the sinners and the common people.
Exactly.
Addressing issues.
Exactly. And what was funny is the religious people hated him for it, Yeah. And so they didn't really disagree with me on it, but they got really quiet. And afterwards, I left thinking, I just kind of
killed the buzz.
Totally killed the buzz, which wasn't my intention. And a couple of the guys, as we left, they stopped me on the way out of the restaurant, and they said, we agree with you. I think you're right. I think if Jesus was here, he would be in the bars. And then the other guy said, well, which makes an obvious question, why aren't we? And I said, why indeed? And so we started going to one of the local bars, and it was kind of odd, the first people kind of looked at us weird. But after a while, it was just kind of normal. They'd see us every once in a while, once a week, we'd be in there, and nobody said anything. And but at the time, everybody smoked, and I have a terrible allergy for cigarette smoke, and so we kind of got out of the habit, and I always regretted that we got out of that habit.
Yeah.
But I always thought in the back of my mind, if ever I'm able to have a place like this where I actually control the environment, I would love to do that. Well, another family in our church, the husband and I were working out. His name's Kurt Sager. He's actually our brewer. We were up at the gym working out, and he was just joking around saying, about what he would like to do if he could do anything, and he wanted to be a brewer and own a brewery. And I said, well, that's ironic, So why is that? I said, because I would love to drink the beer you brew. And we laughed and joked around about it. And then slowly, we would talk about what we would want in the brewery. And over time, it actually just kind of started to form more and more of a solid, take more of a solid form.
Funny the way God does it.
Yeah.
Man, He gives you the idea and gives you the pieces
Exactly.
to do it. So.
And it just really fell together. Eventually, this building that used to be the shack, and it was kind of abandoned. It'd been empty for a long time. It was in really bad shape, and the bank was selling it on a short sale, and so we came down, we bought it, and once you buy a building, you're kind of committed at that point. You got to do something with it, and we were really naive. We thought, a little paint, a little this and that here and there, and we'd open it up, and the building required way more renovation.
Sure.
And so.
But this is an amazing place. I mean, I'm not a guy who typically frequents these kinds of places, but this is like a high-end restaurant, and it's really nice in it.
Thank you. We put a lot of time and effort. As we started to renovate it and gut it, we found the original metal ceiling up there, and it was in horrible shape. We rehabbed that. The floors were in terrible shape. All plumbing, all the electrical, the heating, we had to completely rip that out and redo it. And so as we were redoing it, we thought, we want to do it in a way that we could be proud of, and in a way that the community could be proud of. And also, not to forget this, is as a believer, I just feel like, if we're going to do this, we want it to be something excellent.
Sure.
We don't want it to be, and we didn't want a bar, we wanted a brewery. And a lot of people think, well, what's the difference? And you really don't know until you've come into a brewery. A brewery is very different than a bar. It's light, it's kid-friendly. People come in here with food and their kids, and they sit down, and we don't have drunks because you can only serve 3 beers in the state of Montana.
Sure.
And then they're done. And we're closed by 8 o'clock. So it's a very family, I like to think of it as kind of an adult coffee shop.
And so I'm assuming with your allergy and with your desire, there's no smoking.
Oh, obviously, yeah. Yeah, anymore, there's pretty much no smoking anywhere now. But yeah. And so, it's made a place where people can just be really proud to come, and for me, what's nice is, I think as a pastor, when you have that title, and I'm pretty rigorous about not letting anybody ever call me Pastor Caleb. I just call him Caleb, because I tend to think that it's really easy. People want to stick you in a box and say, this is the box you go in, and I don't associate with people in that box, that religious box. And so for me, I don't mind if God says this is the box. I do mind it when the culture says this is the box. And so for me, any place where the culture is demanding that I be in a box, I balk at that.
Do you find as a pastor, when people kind of put you in that box, that they, I know I used to with my pastor, used to have this feeling of that he couldn't possibly have problems.
Right.
He must have an answer for everything.
Right.
He must not get sad. I mean,
Right.
and it was really a shock when I had some issues, and as we talked one day, he shared some stuff that I just thought, well, he's a pastor. How can he possibly be dealing with this stuff? I think people forget that pastors are human too. They're,
But I wonder if sometimes if people forget, or if it's because pastors aren't really open about the reality of their life. I think that's sad.
Yeah.
I think it's. I would like to think that the people in my church, if you said, well, wow, how did you know that about your pastor's life? I think they would laugh, because I try to live very openly about everything in my life. And I believe Christ was an example of truth and grace all the time. And you cannot extend grace. People won't understand the whole point of grace if they don't understand truth. And so for me, and I don't want to get into a sermon, but, for me, being honest and being open and real about my life is part of that truth. That, it's two rails on a train track.
Sure.
If you don't have the element of truth and openness and realness in your life and who you are, then grace doesn't mean much. And so I really feel like, and I don't know, maybe there's certainly Christians who want that pastor to fit inside that box. But I also think sometimes pastors create the box.
I think they absolutely do, because, I know my pastor, when he kind of started telling me things, he said, don't forget, even Christ in the garden said, look, if you can let this go some other way, let this cup pass. He says, but whatever you want, let's get it done. And, there was a certain amount of humanity in that statement of this is a lot to deal with right now. So I think pastors, to a certain degree, feel like they have to live beyond some standard that wasn't even realistic for Christ, much less them. So,
and I think the thing that I love the most about Christ in Scripture is how genuine. Everybody who met him, he was so genuine, and yet I don't think that the world would say that about pastors in general. I don't think we're thought of as someone who's genuine. And the other side of it too is, if someone who is completely foreign to Christianity and the church wanted to come and talk to somebody, they would never darken the door of my church building.
Oh, yeah.
Where do they go? Where do they go? They come to that side of this bar, and they sit down and they talk to a bartender.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that bartender is there and will listen and isn't going to say anything to condemn them, probably for a motive of not, wanting to mess up his tips, but as a consequence, because of that financial transaction, they're seen as an open place for people to come in. And it's funny, now that I'm here, people just sit on that side of the bar and just start opening up their life to me. And then they ask what I do, and I tell them, and wow, suddenly they're opening up to me on a whole other level.
Hellfire and Damnation doesn't sell a lot of beer.
No, well, and Hellfire and Damnation isn't really Christ either.
That's true. That's true.
And not that I'm in the business of selling Christ, but it isn't who Jesus was known for, truth and grace. He was, it says, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. And unfortunately, I think all too often, as a pastor, we're seen as a source of condemnation.
Sure.
And I just don't agree with that.
Yeah. And so to be in the world too, and this is your world.
Yes.
So how long have you guys been open here?
We opened June 9th of this year.
This year?
Of this year. Yeah, it took us about, from the time we first had the glimmer of an idea, probably about 4 years to get here. And we had a lot of help along the way. I'd like to put a not so shameless plug in for Phillipsburg Brewery. Those guys were incredibly helpful. And everybody I tell, they'll say, well, is there competition? I say, you know what, we wouldn't be here without their help. They were tremendously helpful. They're great people.
So how many, like tap back there, you guys have got, what, looks like about 10 different kinds of beer that are on tap?
Yeah, we have 7. Some of those are doubled up, but we have 7 of them that are made right here in the brewery. And we have some, like right now we've just come out with our limited edition seasonal, which is the Huckleberry Cream Ale made with real huckleberries from the Flathead. And and that's been, everybody's just
That's a unique one there. The
It is.
Cow in Heat Jalapeno Cream Ale.
Yeah.
I've heard some names, but
Well,
wow.
you know, a jalapeno cream ale, obviously, you know, it's got that spicy and the heat. And we, being Elk Ridge Brewing Company, we were trying to come up with funny names, and we thought that one will be a little cheeky, you
Yeah,
know.
look at somebody looking
Yeah.
at the menu there.
Cow and heat. What is it? We thought it would be better to call it that than estrus cream ale or something
Yeah.
like that, you know.
So we'd also talked a little bit. You guys have some pint nights and some other things that you do here.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the pint nights and what are some of the things you do there and what's your goal with those?
You know, one of the goals for us as a brewery was community minded. We wanted this to be a place that the community could be proud of and that put back into the community. And so pint nights, we're going to be doing them every Monday night for different community fundraisers. Like this last week, we did a pint night for the food pantry.
Okay.
To raise money. They're doing a matching fund drive with the town pump. And so whatever we raised in here, the town pump would match that. And so every Monday, we're going to be doing one, I think this next Monday for the Powell County Search and Rescue.
Okay.
Help them raise some money maybe to buy equipment or just to help with their expenses. And there'll be different things like that. Some of the people in the community are trying to put together a skate park. We want to help raise money for that. Sometimes there are different health benefits for
Sure.
people that are, you know, fighting cancer, things like that.
Sure.
And so we'll just, on Monday nights, we'll just do a pint night, and $1 from every beer in here will go towards whatever fundraiser that is. Plus we'll put out a donation box and people can donate, and so we can use the brewery as a place to really promote and help the community.
And so right now you don't serve food, but I know that you guys are looking to add that here just maybe even next
Yes.
week.
Yeah, October 17th. There's a outfit here in town. They have a catering license, and they're just going to cater food. They'll make it elsewhere, bring it here, and just sell it right out of the brewery, and lunch and dinner, and sandwiches like BLTs. I think they've got a turkey bacon avocado sandwich that my wife is absolutely nuts about. I'm afraid she's going to be probably eating that every night. But
So this will be a great place to come for even just like a meal as well.
absolutely, yeah. And you know, it's very family friendly. People say, "Well, I don't drink beer," and we have Coke, Diet Coke, Coke products, and so there's other things that people that don't drink beer can drink with their meal, and
Sure.
and if you want a beer, you can have a beer and have a dinner.
And so going back to pint night real quick, if somebody has a cause, they can contact you guys.
Yes. Yep.
And,
Just contact our website or our email address. It's Elk Ridge Brewing Company at yahoo.com, and just contact us, and we'll put you in touch with the person that's overseeing that. And yeah, we're also going to be doing every Tuesday night. We do Tuesday night tunes, and we have live music coming in every Tuesday night, and people can come in and just relax, and it doesn't matter if you drink or beer or don't drink beer. You can come in and enjoy some live music and have a good time with friends, and it's really fun. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had a fella in here, and people were having a really fun time. He was very energetic and just really entertaining, and we actually had some people dancing around, doing kind of a Western style dance, and kind of dancing up the aisle together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Everybody just had a really good time, and it was nice to see. It's fun just to kind of hear the buzz, of people enjoying themselves and just having a really great time. So.
All right. Well, Caleb, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate you guys, and
Absolutely.
wish you guys the best of luck here.
Thanks, Tim.
The Elk Ridge Brewing Company. And then don't forget, if you're looking for a place on Sunday, the Depot Church, he's one of the pastors over there. And I've been there a couple of times, gives a good message. So we encourage you to visit those two places here in Deer Lodge. So again, the Elk Ridge Brewing Company, located right here on Main Street in Deer Lodge. And we look forward to seeing you again down the road, Caleb.
Thank you.
For QSPNLive.com, this is Tim Allen.